Hi everyone, my name is Naomi, and today we're going to be talking about should parents limit screen time? And okay, so what is screen time? Screen time is the amount of time an adult, child, teen focus on a screen. So this can be a phone, tablet, iPad, TV, anything that's taking up some time. Um, we all know the sticky iPad kid. Their noses are running, their fingers are sticky and gross, and they're just always glued to an iPad. And I don't know about you, but every time I see a kid like in a restaurant or I just see like a kid just knowing how to use like an iPad, I'm just like, wow, they're more tech savvy than me. And it's a little scary to think about because like at their age, I was not like that. I mean, it's probably because we didn't really have this technology that we have today, but it makes me think about like what that might look like for them in the future and how that will affect them. So, whether you have little ones or you're around them, this is something I can relate to being a parent because I struggle with screen time too, and I often think like how is this benefiting my child for the future, and how much is too much screen time. So, early childhood development. From the time a child is born, their brains are developing rapidly. So, two, three, four, like they should be creating their own imaginations and just exploring outside things and not really being inside, just like focused on a screen, learning from a screen. Um, so around this age, they should be playing and interacting with children their own age and playing outdoors, exploring things around them, and just being physically active and just really working their brains. But there is always a downside. So there's no way around this fast-paced technology that improves every day. Like who knows what this is going to be like in the future for everyone, and you know, this is what their future holds basically, like all this technology. But we have a say now on how much screen time our kids actually get while they're home, and we can control it. So if I allow my child screen time, what age, how long, and what should they watch? So what's the limit? According to Health Matters, 18 months and younger should avoid the use of screen time. But it's okay if they're video chatting, like family members and stuff, because that's like educational. 18 to 24 months, media should be high quality informational programming. So like I know with my son, we had like the Baby First TV on our dark TV, and that would be like teaching him his like just basic baby things like numbers and like not really numbers, but shapes and colors and just like animals and stuff like that, just really basic. And so 2 to 5, they should have at least just an hour per day, and parents should be co-viewing. I co-view with my kid, but sometimes I don't because I already know what he's watching and like I can monitor that, so I don't have to worry about like what he's watching and stuff like that. So 6 to 12, keep limits on time spent on the media. Physical activity is an essential piece to everything. Like they really have to get outside, and because that could lead to mental illness, mental health issues if they're on their like on social media for too long, for long periods of time. 12 and older, you should designate media free times together and having like unplugged nights with your family and media free locations at home. So YouTube helpful or not? The age limit for YouTube is 13. So, and personally, I think that YouTube is one of the worst things you can give your kid unsupervised under the age of 13 because kids are so, from a young age, they just learn so quickly. So, if you're giving them a screen, and they can just tap on one video. And they're like, oh my gosh, like, oh, look at this video, and keep scrolling and clicking. And they have access to many videos with unlimited clicks. And here's another quote from Health Matters. If left to their own devices, children are often better than their parents at finding their favorite videos that link to other videos and can lead for hours of watching endless clips. So, I am a victim of the endless clicking and the scrolling. And I can only imagine how one little kid can feel being that little and their brains are so small, and just picking up an iPad, yours, and you can pick and choose what you want to watch. Because sometimes I endless scroll, so I can only imagine how the little ones feel. So, TV versus iPad. I think a TV is better than an iPad for a kid because it's more controlled. It's in one place in the house. It's big enough where you can view as a parent what they're viewing. And my kid doesn't know how to use the remote yet. He's only 3, so it's like he won't be able to change it. Like, we can watch it together. Versus an iPad or tablet, tablet's portable. It's a small screen, so it's really hard to monitor what they're watching. And their kids are gonna like learn quickly how to click and flip through different apps and videos faster than you can figure out how to use a remote on the TV. So, how can this affect a child? So, too much screen time can negatively affect the way your child reacts to different emotions in their life, behaves, their social emotional skills, and it could become a dangerous habit. It could become an addiction, especially if they're brought up with it as early as the age of 2. So, like, if you start young, they're gonna be addicted to it if you're like consistently bringing it up every time. So, this website called Bond Secure states that there is a difference between physical/passive and active screen time. I'm gonna go over those. Okay. Passive and active screen time. So, passive screen time is the watching and the playing of the games that don't require physical activity. So, YouTube, games that are mindless, that you can't really use your brain for. Things with no nutritional value. Games and videos have no nutritional value to what your kids are learning, something new. Nothing of the sort. Or used watching during meals. No child lock. So, but active screen time is apps that bring out the creativity in your children, and learning programs, video chatting, physical games. Cognitive screens let kids develop creativity and new skills while encouraging participation. So, games such as like ABC Mouse on websites, or like the baby show, like the baby TV I was telling you guys about. And there are some good channels on YouTube for kids to watch that are educational, but like I would still have parent supervision for that, because you can quickly you can 3 clicks and you're like out of the range of what you want your kids to be listening to, and it's just so easy to be off track in YouTube. So those are the examples for passive and active screen time. Active screen time, if you're gonna give your kids screen time, that is what is suggested. They have apps and stuff on the App Store, especially if you're giving your kid an iPad. They have apps and stuff that the kids can actually learn from, and they can help them, and it benefits them. They learn shapes and colors and numbers, and there's little videos that they can watch to get their brains active. So you're probably thinking, well, where do I start? This is so much. I don't know. That's crazy. And it can be hard to limit or cut back on screen time, especially if you seem like they've already gone too far. But don't worry, relax. I have some tips that can help with limited screen time. You can be a role model for the kinds of habits you want your kids to develop. So if you don't want your kid on their screen the whole day, but they see you on your cell phone the whole day, that's going to make them not want to have this unplugged environment. So together as a family, you should be limiting your screen time and your children's and having that unplugged family game night you guys always talk about that you guys never have. And showing your kid that you're also willing to put the screen down and enjoy quality time together. And just really getting to know your kid. Like, I know so many parents that just like don't really talk to their kids that much because of the screens. Like, they're easily addicted as much as their kids. You can use parental controls, monitoring what your kid is watching and blocking certain channels from harmful content, especially at a young age. Like, it's so easy. Like I said, you're watching one thing on YouTube and you click 3 times and you're watching kids play with toys and like they're swearing at each other. Like, it gets nuts. And then you can encourage other activities. You can go for family walks, go outside. You can do scavenger hunts. You can do indoor things when it gets cold. You can have a movie night. I know that's part of the screen, but if you guys are all watching together, and then it's like parent supervision. But you can make it fun. Like, you can make little popcorn things, candy, little movie night things. Okay. So what are some things you can do? Like I said, you can go outside. If you have a dog, take the dog for a walk. Take him for create a scavenger hunt. If it's snowing, you can build a snowman. Have a fort outside. But there's also indoor activities you can do too. You can make crafts, like homemade Play-Doh. My son loves making the homemade Play-Doh. Pasta necklaces, and the popsicle sticks craft. Those are really fun, and it's good for fine motor skills for the little one. You can do family games such as bingo and Twister and hide and seek. If your kids like puzzles, you can do family puzzles, brain teasers just for good brain stimulation. Or like my favorite for a quieter evening, my son and I like to have bookathon, so he'll pick like 5 books out and we'll just read like every single book. His favorite book's like 7 times. He also likes to help out with the nightly routines, like picking out his jammies and like making dinner together. He's been really enjoying making dinner. And like that's good for, the fine motor skills, like putting things in and pouring things into things. Looking through old photo albums, they can prepare for bed by picking out their own jammies, bath soap, like bath toys that you do. It's good to have a set routine in while you're like cutting back on the screen time, because then it like really settles the kids down before bed, and that way their brains are not like constantly thinking about, oh my god, what video am I gonna watch next on YouTube. So, in conclusion, we have all heard about people becoming addicted to something at least once in our life. I'm addicted to sugar, like bad. So whether it's drugs, coffee, or sugar, children can also develop an addiction, and the biggest one for kids is screen time, and that can start at a pretty early age. And screen time should be limited because it can become detrimental to the mental and physical health of children, and it can start at early age. Too much screen time can lead to behavioral, social, and emotional problems for the child as they grow. It can make them really moody. I know when my son watches too much TV, he is really, really cranky and just like the worst he's ever been. But like when we're cutting back on the screen time, he's just so much more mellow and just like he's great. But too much screen time can also set them back in school. It can delay their speech and like really bad with their social skills. And like you can just tell going into school, like the kids that sometimes you can tell. But I feel like I used to work in the school and I could tell like the kids who were just heavily addicted to like their screens and how bad their social skills are. So you can choose what your child consumes, and it can be helpful, and that they're not consuming. They need to consume meaningful information. Active screen time can be helpful. This consists of creative games and stuff, informational games, video chatting within a decent range of screen time. And screen time should be supervised and should not be around an hour before bedtime, at meal times, or in designated family times. I can't tell you how many times I've gone out to eat and I just see kids with their phones, with their parents' phones. Sometimes the kids even have their own phones, like at the dinner table, and it just gives me the major ick. And I feel sad. And we can focus more on quality time with our children and learn more about them just by taking the unplugged route. With this, we can take control over how much the media affects our children just by limiting their screen times to the recommended times for children's age at a young age. Like, if we start now at a younger age, they won't have this issue as they get older. They already know that, like, you're strict about it. And that is how we can save the youth, basically, for limiting screen time. And here are my works cited for my 3 articles. And here are my works cited.